which they were brought up in the vicious circle of poverty among persons with disability, is that their nomination fee was waived. For women, it was halved. For youth, it was halved, so that at least we have as many as possible of them being within the party and be able to compete for that party ticket in a favorable environment. Yeah. So even let me thank the UDA, having been the first ever political party in Kenya to waive nomination fee for persons with disability. As a representative of persons with disability, I really do appreciate. In other parties, they even buy the party ticket. Again, you know where the problem is.
Elachi disagrees, but we'll get to that.
No, you will have to agree, because it is the truth. You know, you cannot disagree with the facts. So again, in the past, you know, there have been some chaotic kind of nomination process. You remember the issue of ODM during nomination. You know, you will always witness violence. And, you know, Jubilee was really halted, but there was no cases of violence meted upon aspirants and meted upon opposing camps. But when you go to like ODM, it scares away, because, you know, people have gone to hospital courtesy of violence during nomination. People have gone to jail courtesy of violence during party nomination. Yeah, you can even see now a whole party chairman of ODM is no longer contesting. You can imagine now the intrigue that were that went under the table to be able to scare away a whole party chairman. You know, if the party chairman himself is not confident of that particular political party, how do you expect the common mwananchi to be really confident on that party? And again, the other issue that scare away aspirant, and I am sure Jared will agree with me. You know, Jared have a track record of being the best in distribution of bursaries. I've witnessed myself sending children with disabilities to be given bursaries in Nyando, and they have really told me that majority of them have received bursaries from Jared Okello, and I thank him for that. But there are ethnic political parties. Like now, if you see ODM, who is the party leader of ODM, who is the minority leader in the Senate, courtesy of ODM, who is the minority leader in National Assembly, courtesy of ODM, who is the chair of Finance Committee, courtesy of ODM, who is behind Raila Odinga when he addressed the media. In fact, these characters, they live within a walking distance from each other. So you can associate with a certain region, in fact, a certain ethnic tribe, you know. But when you talk about the first time that we came to close of having a national political party was when we had now the Jubilee, you know, in 2017. Because Jubilee in 2017 was a political party that the party leader came from Central, the deputy party leader came 500 kilometers from Central, that is from Sugoi. The majority leader in parliament came from all the way from Garissa, the border of Kenya and Somalia. You can see the faces behind Jubilee were from the four corners of the Republic of Kenya. Now, in this election of 2022, the only party that have that national outlook is UDA. See who is behind UDA. The party leader is actually from Sugoi, and then the chairman of the party come from Ukambani, and then you see the like of Aden Duale being there, the likes of Jichopefu Mohamed Ali being there, Rigathi Gachagua, Sankok from the border of Kenya and Tanzania, and you have Nanok from the border of Kenya and Southern Sudan. You know, at least there is the outlook of the nation in UDA. But in others like Wiper, if you talk of members of parliament from Wiper, of course you will find Kina Kimilu, you will find Kina Jess Kambalu, you will find people that live within 25 kilometers from their party leaders. So, this one scare, because if you are then from Narok and you belong to Wiper, you will rather be in independent.
Yeah.
If you are from Kambani, then you will fight for the party ticket because you know that is a direct ticket to be a member of parliament.
Okay.
Trevor, you know, listening to Sankok speak, you would imagine that UDA has always been in existence. That is what he's... I mean, UDA is a new political outfit that was registered the other day.
Yeah, very young.
When the deputy president chose not to work with his boss. And now this is going to be a litmus test for them. At least ODM has a history.
Yeah.
The only party that has conducted primaries ever since the year 2007 to date. Imperfections abound, but at least ODM carries out nominations all through. This is the only party that has very clean audit records with the Auditor General, because again, being funded by the Registrar of Political Parties through the Political Parties Fund. Go through the records. I mean, ODM is the only party that has endeavored to do what is right. UDA has only one member of parliament, and when my brother Sankok speaks, you'd think half parliament belongs to UDA. So this is going to be their very first one, and I will be meeting them on the streets from next week with teary eyes, because I know those who bungled Jubilee in 2017, and they have trooped to UDA, and they are going to mess it up.
He's becoming a prophet.
Let him finish. I'll give you
your time will come. Yeah. Now, what we are trying to do in ODM in order to forestall all this acrimony, and you heard my chairperson of National Elections Board, Wakili Muma, she said, we are employing several methods at arriving at a candidate. And you know, remember that this is a political party presenting its candidates to IEBC for elections. Parties cannot do elections, and that is the truth. And that is why parties talk about merger of polling stations, because we are not as funded as IEBC to carry out a national outlook of an election. We can't. And that is why, firstly, we are employing consensus method. In areas where we have credible polling results that so-and-so is winning against all the other contenders, they are put on a table to sit down and agree. Because, again, people all understand their strengths on the ground.
Yeah.
So, and this has worked in other areas for us. And it is just a method, you know, upon which we hope that this high-octane politics will be toned down.
Yeah.
There are areas where we have only single candidate. I mean, why wait? Just give them direct ticket. If consensus would fail, then our last resort is to go universal suffrage.
Yeah.
And that universal suffrage would invite people belonging to this political party, ODM, to cast their votes in favor of the candidates that they want. And once the results are tallied and X wins against Y, a certificate will be given at that level. But that is our last resort as a party.
Okay.
Because, again, we don't want to see this degree of acrimony that we have witnessed before. But again, Trevor, on political parties, the registrar, I think, said we have about 65 political parties so far. 65 registered political parties. How I wish that the registrar would, after all this, carry out a comprehensive audit of all these parties, because the law is very clear on what qualifies to be a political party.
Yeah.
One, you must have branches in at least 24 counties. Branches.
Yeah.
You should have membership of at least 1,000 in every county. Mm-hmm. Now, these briefcase political parties, I don't understand how 65 parties... I travel in this country, and I travel a lot.
Yeah. From
Northeastern to Hispania, from Malaba to Lungalunga. And if these 65 political parties have offices, I could have seen.
Yeah.
I could have seen. So I think the next step is how do we carry out an audit,
yeah,
so that we know which parties really qualify to be called political parties. Okay. And that is why, in the wisdom,
yeah,
of members of parliament, they said, it is not blanket that any political party will benefit from the political party's fund. You must have at least 5% of representation in parliament in order to qualify.
Okay.
And most political parties fall short of that expectation.
I have to take a quick break. When I come back, Sankok, I'll give you a chance to respond. More than 82 political parties have actually submitted their registers for certification. 82 of them, 65 have been cleared, but 82 are the ones that have submitted their registers for certification. But we'll come back to that in just a bit. I see some of your feedback coming through at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's take that quick break and come back. Still talking about this nominations headache, because it's starting on the 1st of April all the way to the end. All right? See you in a bit.